afternoon, Akisa. Quite a momentous occasion, not only for Kenya, but for the region of East Africa and Africa as a whole, being that it's the first time that a sitting Israeli Prime Minister is visiting this side of the continent in the past 3 decades. And of course, a basket of many goodies coming from those bilateral talks between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, notably on cooperation on matters of internal security as well as the fight against international terrorism. And to just shed some more light on some of these critical issues, I'm now going to be speaking to the PS in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who has in her previous capacity also served in the Ministry of Defense as well as the Ministry of Interior, Dr. Monica Juma. Shukran sana kwa kuungana nasi. What does the signing of those or the agreements for the cooperation on matters of defense particularly mean for us as Kenya and Africa as a whole?
Thank you very much. Let me first indicate the gratitude of us as government and also I hope Kenyans in hosting the Prime Minister of Israel for the first time. A number of discussions have been held on a number of important issues, and I think it is important to underscore that this has gone to revitalize a relationship that is historical. Our relationship with Israel is not new, whether it is in security or defense, but what this has done today is really to underscore the importance of deepening that relationship. So there's going to be more expanded discussions. In fact, only this afternoon, the first technical team is going to be sitting from the various ministries of defense, interior, intelligence on both sides at 3:30 to elaborate some of the programs and the takeaways out of the meeting.
Let's talk matters foreign affairs. When President Uhuru Kenyatta visited Israel earlier this year, the one key goodie that he came back with to Kenya was the direct flights between Nairobi and Tel Aviv. Much of the discussion has been about, letting students go to Israel to study. But economically speaking, how has this expanded the chances of trade between Kenya and Israel?
Well, you know that in order to begin to launch the flights, the direct flights, there's a lot of technical discussions that goes on. That has begun. And we hope that if we don't achieve that by December, we certainly will by 2017. And clearly, if you have a direct flight, what that means is that your students, your officers, your business people, your people-to-people cooperation is strengthened because it becomes a one-stop flight into our country. And so we are looking forward to that, and we are excited at the prospect, at the idea that this is going to be realized.
Now, again, on matters of foreign affairs, Kenya as a country, the image of Kenya has been one that has gone through what you might call storm, perhaps for the better part of the Jubilee administration, right from, the controversy over the Hague, and now, the most powerful man from the Middle East, who comes from the superpower in the Middle East, makes Kenya the second destination for his visit, which is historic, as we said, since it's the very first time in 30 years that a sitting Prime Minister of Israel is visiting Africa. What does that mean on the image of Kenya if we are to sell brand Kenya out on matters trade, international trade, and all that?
This is about Kenya's leadership globally. I think it is true to say that for the first time since our independence, our country has achieved very coveted status internationally. Now, internationally, everyone understands that if Kenya is leading in the prosecution of a certain item, it shall be delivered. We are able to mobilize. We have demonstrated our capacity to mobilize. We have demonstrated our capacity to carry international values, whether it is in terms of international justice or democratization or the fight against terrorism. In fact, we are doing this in a very peculiar circumstance. We are one of the few countries that are deepening democratization while at the same time fighting terrorism. That is not normal. It is not usual, but we have chosen for us to deepen our democratic values because that is what they give us a promise for our prosperity in the future. And so we have really attained a crescendo in terms of our diplomatic place globally. And we are leading. You will know that it was a Kenyan ambassador that helped to co-chair the post-2015 agenda. You will know that we are a leader in international environmental issues. We campaigned to have a United Nations Assembly on Environment, which is sitting at UNEA. We are now campaigning for the strengthening of habitat, and we'll be going to the Habitat International Conference. We are moving now to the AU in terms of Kigali. The president is chairing the APRM, the African Peer Review Mechanism. So we are at a good place internationally, and it's just demonstrating our leadership in both values and in terms of bringing among the community of nations.
Still on matters international relations, we know that Israel as a country faces many enemies out there, particularly in the Middle East, and not everybody might be happy that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has visited Kenya. Are we prepared to convince these other nemesis of Israel that they can still continue working with Kenya despite our stand diplomatically with Israel?
We are in a new place internationally. And as both the Prime Minister and His Excellency President Uhuru has demonstrated today and said, we are in a changed global environment. In fact, as they have both indicated, Israel is engaging with its neighbors. And who are we to give a judgment about what it should be? If Israel is engaging with its neighbors, why can we not engage with Israel? Today, we were talking a few months even, about Iran. People are engaging with Iran. So it is in this, the belief that engagement, multilateralism, is what will provide us with the answers for dealing with the challenges of today. And it is in that within that principle of multilateral cooperation that we underscore the necessity for fuller cooperation, for enhanced engagement with everyone, including Israel and its neighbors in the Middle East.
Perhaps my very final question, a mwananchi story from Mashinani. A lot has been talked about here. Very many agreements agreements awaiting, endorsement from the two leaders have been talked about in that closed-door meeting. Like, for instance, on matters agriculture and water. How soon do we expect the benefits of that agreement to trickle down to the mwananchi in Mashinani?
In fact, when you talk about agriculture, because we have conceived agriculture within the larger canvas of food security, all you need to do is to look at Galana Galalu project. We are moving on. So we are about to harvest. And this is really to secure our people and to secure the region, because you cannot develop with a people that do not have food. So it is a basic step that we must take in terms of securing the provision of the basic necessity in order that we can release people to the innovation that Kenya is known for.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ari. Now, that has been the PS in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has served in her previous capacity as PS in the Ministry of Defense as well as the Ministry of Interior, of course, explaining some of the key issues that were discussed in those talks. But predominantly, as I said earlier, a key issue that was discussed by the two leaders was that of cooperation on security, not only on matters of internal security, but also defense and fighting terrorism, which is increasingly becoming a global threat. And to just mention what Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said once again, that fighting terrorism in one section of the globe is a fight against international terrorism, as that weakening of terrorism from one section ultimately weakens, the aspirations of the terrorists across the globe, whose key agenda is to wreak havoc and kill innocent people. Back to you in studio.